Admiral Dongwoo Kim stood in the control room of Earth's Defense Command. He was looking at screens that showed numbers and charts. Everything looked normal that morning. Earth's first colony on a distant planet was doing well. Human ships were exploring new worlds. Life was good. Then the alarm started screaming. "Sir, we have unknown ships appearing above our cities," said Lieutenant Hai-Jin Park. She was pointing at her screen with a shaking hand. "They just appeared out of nowhere." Dongwoo walked quickly to the main screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. Huge ships, bigger than anything humans had ever built, were floating above New York, Tokyo, London, and 12 other major cities. The ships looked like nothing humans had ever seen. They were smooth and dark with strange lights pulsing along their sides. "How many ships?" Dongwoo asked. 47 ships total, sir. Each one is at least 5 kilometers long. Dongwoo had been a soldier for 30 years. He had seen wars and battles, but he had never seen anything like this. These ships appeared without any warning. No human radar had detected them coming. "Sir," said another officer, "we're getting a message. It's being sent directly into everyone's mind." Before Dongwoo could ask what that meant, he felt it. A voice spoke inside his head. It was cold and alien. The voice spoke to every human on Earth at the same time. "Humans of Earth, I am Ambassador Veltar of the Galactic Council. Your species has been judged." The voice continued speaking in everyone's mind. "You have developed faster than light travel too quickly. You have spread to other worlds too fast. You are dangerous and unpredictable. The Council has decided that you cannot be allowed to continue." Dongwoo felt sick. This was not a greeting. This was a threat. "You have 72 hours to do 3 things. First, you must bring all humans back to Earth from your colonies. Second, you must destroy all your faster-than-light ships and technology. Third, you must surrender your weapons and accept our protection." The alien voice became even colder. "If you do not obey, we will make you obey. This is not a request. This is a command. You have 72 hours. Then the voice was gone. The control room was silent for a moment. Then everyone started talking at once. Officers were shouting questions and giving orders. Phones were ringing. People were running around. "Quiet!" Dongwoo shouted. Everyone stopped talking. "Get me President Song on the line, now!" While they waited for the call, Dongwoo thought about what this meant. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council. They had technology that could send messages directly into people's minds. Their ships had appeared without warning. This meant they were much more advanced than humans. But there was something else. The aliens said humans were too dangerous and unpredictable. Why would they think that? Humans had only been traveling between stars for 10 years. They had built one small colony. They had not attacked anyone. "Sir, President Song is on the line." President Minho Song's face appeared on the main screen. He looked worried. "Admiral Kim, I assume you heard the message?" "Yes, sir. The whole world heard it. What are your orders?" "We need to meet. All world leaders are gathering in Geneva in 2 hours. I want you there. Bring Dr. Park and Captain Lee." Dr. Hai-Jin Park was Earth's best scientist for studying alien technology. Captain Tae-ho Lee commanded humanity's fastest exploration ship. If anyone could help in this situation, it would be them. "Yes, sir. We'll be there." After the call ended, Dongwoo looked around the room. "I want to know everything about those ships. How they move, how they hide, what weapons they have. I want to know it in 1 hour." "Sir," said Hai-Jin, "I've been studying the energy readings from their ships. There's something strange about their technology." "What do you mean?" "Their ships use a lot of power, but they use it in a very specific way. It's like they follow strict rules about how their technology works. They never change or adapt their methods." Dongwoo thought about this. "You mean they always do things the same way?" "Exactly. Their technology is more advanced than ours, but it's not creative. They seem to think there's only one right way to do everything." This was interesting. Maybe it was important. 2 hours later, Dongwoo was sitting in a room with the leaders of every country on Earth. President Song was speaking to the group. "The aliens have given us an ultimatum. We can surrender and live under their control, or we can fight and probably die. I want to hear everyone's thoughts." The president of Russia spoke first. "We should fight. Russia has never surrendered to Invaders. The Prime Minister of Japan disagreed. We should consider their offer. Maybe living under their protection is better than dying. Other leaders argued back and forth. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to surrender. The debate went on for an hour. Then a young woman named So Young Choi stood up. She worked as a diplomatic assistant, but she was very smart about alien languages and communications. Sir, I've been studying the alien message. There's something wrong with their words. Everyone looked at her. What do you mean? President Song asked. They said they want to protect us. But the way they said it in our minds, the emotion behind the words, they're not planning to protect us. They're planning something else. What kind of something else? So Young looked scared. I think they're planning to kill us all. The room became very quiet. If So Young was right, then the aliens were lying. They were not offering protection. They were planning genocide. Are you sure about this? President Song asked. I'm not completely sure, but I think we should prepare for the worst. President Song looked around the room. Then we have a choice. We can surrender and hope they really will protect us, or we can prepare to fight and hope we can win. How can we fight them? Asked the president of Brazil. Their technology is much better than ours. Dongwu stood up. We fight them the same way humans have always fought stronger enemies. We use our brains. We be unpredictable. We do things they don't expect. Dr. Hyojin raised her hand. I have an idea for a weapon. It's very dangerous and it might not work. But if we're going to fight, we need something they've never seen before. What kind of weapon? I call it Project Ragnarok. It would use Earth's gravity and magnetic field as a weapon. No one has ever tried this before because it's considered impossible. President Song looked at her for a long moment. How long would you need? 71 hours. The president looked around the room one more time. All in favor of preparing to fight? Every hand in the room went up. As the meeting ended, So Young walked up to Dongwu. Admiral, I'm going to try to intercept more of their communications. If they're planning to kill us, maybe I can find proof. Be careful, Dongwu said. If you're right about their plans, then we're about to start the most important war in human history. Outside, the alien ships continued to float above Earth's cities. They waited patiently for humanity's surrender. They had no idea what was coming. 24 hours had passed since the aliens gave their ultimatum. All around the world, people were scared, but they were also getting angry. Admiral Dongwu Kim stood in a secret bunker deep underground. The bunker was built during the old Cold War, but now it served a new purpose. It was the center of Earth's defense against alien invasion. What do we know about their communications? Dongwu asked. So Young Choi. So Young looked tired. She had not slept since yesterday. I've been listening to their signals all night. Admiral, it's worse than we thought. She played a recording on her computer. Strange sounds filled the room. They sounded like music, but the music was cold and frightening. This is how they talk to each other. I've learned some of their language. They call humans the infestation. They say we're like a disease that spreads too fast. Dongwu felt his anger growing. What else? They never planned to let us live. The whole offer of protection was a lie. They want us to gather in cities, so they can kill us all at once. It's easier than hunting us down one by one. Dr. Hyojin Park walked into the room. Her clothes were dirty and her hair was messy. She had been working on Project Ragnarok for 24 hours straight. How is the weapon coming? Dongwu asked. It's crazy and dangerous, but it might work. I'm using every nuclear power plant on Earth to build giant gravity generators. When they activate, they'll turn our whole planet into a weapon. How does it work? Hyojin sat down heavily in a chair. Earth has a magnetic field that protects us from radiation. I'm going to make that field much stronger and use it to grab their ships. Then I'll use gravity waves to crush them. Will it hurt people on Earth? Some people might get sick from the electromagnetic effects, but it's better than being dead. Dongwu nodded. What do you need? Time. And help from every country on Earth. Russia needs to give me access to their nuclear plants. China needs to shut down their power grid so I can redirect the electricity. Everyone needs to work together. This was the biggest challenge. Countries on Earth had been fighting each other for thousands of years. Now they needed to work as one team. I'll make the calls, Dongwu said. He spent the next 4 hours talking to military leaders around the world. Everyone understood that this was different from any war they had ever fought. This was a war for the survival of the human species. Colonel Jin-Woo Park was a pilot in the Russian Air Force. He was also one of the best fighter pilots in the world. When Dong-Woo called him, Jin-Woo was already preparing his squadron. "How many fighters do you have?" Dong-Woo asked. 500 of our best planes. But Admiral, our missiles probably won't hurt their ships. That's okay. I don't need you to destroy their ships. I need you to confuse them. Make them think we're attacking from one direction while we prepare to hit them from another direction. Commander Yeon-Soo Kim was in charge of Korea's submarine fleet. She had 20 submarines hidden under the ocean around the world. "Admiral, my submarines are in position. Each one has nuclear missiles. But I don't think nuclear weapons will hurt their ships either." "I don't need you to hurt their ships," Dong-Woo said. "When the time comes, I need you to fire everything you have at their ships. It won't destroy them, but it will make them angry and distracted." Major Hyun-Woo was a computer expert from Germany. He had spent years learning how to break into enemy computer systems. "Hyun, I need you to try something." "Impossible. I need you to hack into alien computers." "Sir, that's impossible. I don't know anything about their technology." "So Young has been studying their communications. She'll help you understand how they think. Maybe you can find a way to disrupt their systems." Colonel Nari Seo was in charge of supply lines for the African Federation military. Her job was to make sure soldiers had food, weapons, and ammunition. "Nari, I need you to do something different. I need you to hide weapons and supplies in secret locations all over Earth. If the aliens land soldiers, we need to be ready to fight them on the ground." "How long do we have?" 47 hours. As Dong-Woo made these calls, Captain Tae-Ho Lee was far away in space. His ship was near the human colony on Kepler 442b. He had heard the alien ultimatum, but he was too far away to return to Earth in time. Instead, Tae-Ho did something unexpected. He started broadcasting human music and movies toward the alien ships. The aliens had never heard human music before. They listened to songs about love, war, hope, and courage. They watched movies about humans fighting against impossible odds and winning. This confused the aliens. Most species in the galaxy were peaceful. They surrendered when threatened by superior force. But humans seemed to think that fighting was normal, even when they could not win. Ambassador Veltar contacted the other council members. "The humans are broadcasting their cultural information to us. I have studied it. These beings are unlike any species we have encountered." "In what way?" asked Zekthar, the leader of the crystalline Thek race. "They have a concept they call heroism. It means choosing to fight even when fighting means death. They tell stories about individuals who sacrifice themselves to save others. This is irrational behavior." "All primitive species are irrational," said the hive-mind voice of the collectorate. "They will submit when they realize resistance is futile." But Veltar was not so sure. He had been studying human history. Humans had fought thousands of wars against each other. They had created terrible weapons and used them. But they had also created beautiful art and music. They helped each other during disasters. They were contradictory in ways that hurt his head to think about. Back on Earth, Dr. Hai-Jin was making progress with Project Ragnarok. Power plants around the world were being connected to her gravity generators. The generators were hidden inside mountains and under the ocean floor. "How will you control all of this?" Dong-Woo asked her. "That's the scary part. Once I start the system, I can't stop it. It will either work and save us, or it will fail and kill us all." "What are the chances? It will work?" Hai-Jin was quiet for a moment. "Maybe 50%. But Admiral, even if it works perfectly, a lot of people are going to die. The electromagnetic effects will damage electronics all over the world. Hospitals might lose power. Airplanes might crash." Dong-Woo understood. "So we have to choose between definitely dying if we surrender, or maybe dying if we fight." "That's right." As the second day ended, So Young made an important discovery. She had been listening to alien communications when she heard something that made her heart race. "Admiral, I found something important." She played a new recording. This time, the alien voices sounded excited. They're talking about their other victories. "Admiral, the Council has destroyed 17 different species over the last few thousand years. They always use the same method. They offer protection, then they kill everyone when the species gathers in cities." 17 species. Dongwu repeated. "They've done this before." "Yes, and they always win because the other species believe their lies. But Admiral, I found something else. None of those species ever fought back. They all surrendered peacefully. This was important information. The Council had experience destroying species, but they had no experience fighting species that refused to give up. So young, what do the aliens think about humans? They're scared of us. Not scared of our weapons or our technology. They're scared of our minds. They can't understand why we don't surrender when we're outgunned." Good. Fear makes enemies make mistakes. As the 48-hour mark approached, Captain Tejo made a decision that would change everything. Instead of staying near the colony, he turned his ship around and headed back toward Earth at maximum speed. He knew he could not arrive in time to help with the first battle. But he also knew that if humanity survived the first attack, they would need his ship for what came next. On Earth, millions of people were secretly evacuating from the major cities. But instead of gathering in safe areas like the aliens expected, they were hiding in underground bunkers and mountain caves. The aliens thought they were seeing surrender. Actually, they were seeing preparation for war. In his command bunker, Admiral Dongwu looked at reports from around the world. Pilots were ready. Submarines were in position. The gravity weapon was almost complete. Hackers were preparing to attack alien systems. 24 hours left, he said to his staff. Tomorrow we find out if humans deserve to survive in this galaxy. Above them, the alien ships continued to wait. Ambassador Veltar was confident that the humans would surrender soon. After all, every other species had surrendered. He had no idea that humans were different. He was about to learn why the rest of the galaxy should be afraid of Earth. The 72 hours were up. Admiral Dongwu Kim stood in his command center, watching screens that showed the alien ships above Earth's cities. For 3 days, the ships had waited patiently for humanity's surrender. "All stations report ready," said Lieutenant Hyjin Park. Her voice was calm, but Dongwu could see her hands shaking slightly. Around the world, everything was in position. Submarines waited under the ocean. Fighter jets sat hidden in underground hangars. The gravity weapon was charged and ready. Millions of soldiers hid in bunkers, waiting for the signal to attack. Then Ambassador Veltar's voice spoke in everyone's mind again. "Humans of Earth. Your time is finished. You have not obeyed our commands. You have not brought your colonists home. You have not destroyed your ships. You have not surrendered your weapons." The alien voice became angry. "Because you have disobeyed, you will be punished. We will now begin your elimination. Do not resist. Resistance will only make your death slower and more painful." Dongwu picked up his communicator. Every human military unit in the world was listening. "This is Admiral Kim to all forces. The aliens want to destroy us because they think we're dangerous. They're right. We are dangerous. And now they're going to find out why." He paused, thinking about all the humans who had died in wars throughout history. All the humans who had fought against impossible odds. All the humans who had refused to give up even when defeat seemed certain. "You came to our home," Dongwu said, broadcasting on all frequencies so the aliens would hear him too. "You threatened our children. You tried to make us kneel, but you made one critical error. You assumed we were like the other species you've destroyed." Above the cities, the alien ships began to glow. Energy weapons were powering up. The aliens expected to see humans running in panic. Instead, something impossible happened. The cities were empty. "What is this?" Veltar demanded. "Where are the humans?" His sensors showed that the major cities were full of buildings and vehicles, but almost no life signs. It looked like the humans had evacuated, but where had they gone? Then Dr. Hyjin Park pressed a button, and the Earth itself became a weapon. Every nuclear power plant on the planet suddenly redirected all its energy to hidden gravity generators. The generators had been built in secret over the last 3 days, hidden inside mountains and under the ocean floor. Earth's magnetic field, which normally protected the planet from solar radiation, suddenly became 10 times stronger. The field reached out like invisible hands and grabbed the alien ships. "Impossible!" Veltar screamed as his ship was pulled downward by forces he had never encountered. "No species has ever weaponized planetary gravity." "That's because no species was crazy enough to try," Ye-Jin said to herself as she watched her impossible weapon work. The alien ships, which had been floating easily above the cities, were suddenly trapped. The gravity generators created fields so strong that the ships could not escape. Some ships were pulled toward the ground. Others were crushed by gravitational forces, but the gravity weapon was just the beginning. All fighters, launch. Now! Dongwu ordered. From hidden bases around the world, 50,000 fighter jets took off at the same time. Colonel Jin-Woo Park led the attack, flying his advanced stealth fighter directly at the largest alien ship. The aliens had never seen anything like human fighter tactics. Most species in the galaxy fought in organized formations, following logical patterns. Human pilots flew like madmen, diving and spinning in ways that seemed random but were actually planned chaos. "They're not following any logical attack pattern," reported a confused alien commander. "How do we defend against randomness?" Jin-Woo grinned as he fired his missiles at an alien ship. The missiles did not have enough power to destroy the ship, but they damaged its hull and confused its crew. Behind him, 100 other fighters were doing the same thing. "All submarines, fire everything!" Commander Yun-Soo Kim ordered. From under the oceans, 20 submarines launched their nuclear missiles. The missiles could not destroy the alien ships, but they created huge explosions of light and electromagnetic energy. The aliens, who were used to precise attacks, were blinded and disoriented by the chaos. "They're using nuclear weapons as distractions," Veltar realized. "This is insane." But the strangest part was yet to come. Major Hyeon Woo had spent 3 days learning about alien computer systems with So Young's help. Now he was attempting something that should have been impossible. He was hacking into alien technology using human unpredictability. Alien computers were designed to be perfect. They followed logical rules and could not be broken by normal methods. But human hackers did not use normal methods. They used creativity, intuition, and random guessing. Hyun typed commands that made no logical sense. He sent data packets that contained human jokes and music instead of proper computer code. He attacked the alien systems with chaos instead of logic, and incredibly, it worked. "Their computer systems are shutting down," So Young reported with amazement. "The alien computers can't handle illogical input. They're crashing." As their computer systems failed, some alien ships lost power, others lost navigation. A few ships actually crashed into each other because their pilots could not control them properly. But the aliens were not helpless. They began to adapt to human tactics. Some ships broke free from the gravity traps. Others landed soldiers in the empty cities, hoping to find humans to capture. That was when Colonel Nari Seo sprang her part of the trap. The cities were not actually empty. They were full of hidden weapons and booby traps. When alien soldiers entered the buildings, they found explosive devices hidden in every room. The buildings themselves had been turned into weapons. "Every piece of human technology has been weaponized," Nari reported to Dongwu. "Microwave ovens are shooting radiation beams. Cars are exploding when the aliens touch them. Even children's toys have been turned into tiny bombs." The aliens had never fought an enemy that turned everyday objects into weapons. They were trained to fight against military targets, not against an entire planet that had become hostile. Dr. Hai-Jin watched her sensors as more alien ships were caught by the gravity weapons, but she could see that the system was overloading. Using Earth's entire energy grid as a weapon was burning out power plants around the world. "Admiral, I can maintain the gravity field for maybe 10 more minutes. Then we'll lose power everywhere." "Will 10 minutes be enough?" "I don't know. But it's all we have." High above Earth, Captain Tae-Ho Lee was flying his exploration ship back toward the battle. He was still too far away to help, but he could see what was happening. Human tactics were working, but the aliens still had superior technology. Then, Tae-Ho made a decision that would become legend. He turned his ship directly toward the largest alien vessel and pushed his engines to maximum power. His ship was not designed for combat, but it was very fast, and sometimes speed was more important than weapons. "This is Captain Lee to Earth Command. I'm beginning my attack run." "Tae-Ho, what are you doing?" Dongwu asked. "Something the aliens won't expect. I'm going to ram their command ship." The aliens saw Tae-Ho's ship approaching at incredible speed. They fired their weapons at him, but he was moving too fast and changing direction too often. Human pilots had trained for years to make split-second decisions in combat. Tae-Ho's ship smashed through the alien vessel's energy shields and crashed into its hull. The impact destroyed both ships, but it also created a massive explosion that damaged 3 other alien vessels. "He did it," Hyojin whispered. "The crazy fool actually did it." The aliens were finally beginning to understand what they were fighting. Humans did not just want to survive. They wanted to win, and they were willing to sacrifice themselves to achieve victory. As the gravity generators began to fail and power plants around Earth started to shut down, Admiral Dongwu made his final announcement. "Attention, alien fleet. You came here to destroy us because you thought we were dangerous. You were right. We are the species that turns planets into weapons. We are the species that crashes ships into superior enemies. We are the species that never surrenders." Half of the alien fleet had been destroyed or damaged. The remaining ships were retreating from Earth's gravity field, trying to escape to a safe distance. "This was just our opening move," Dongwu continued. "If you want to see what humanity is truly capable of, please feel free to stay and find out." Ambassador Veltar stared at the destruction of his fleet in disbelief. In 3,000 years, the Galactic Council had never lost a battle. They had destroyed 17 different species without suffering significant casualties. Now, in less than 1 hour, the humans had destroyed half of his ships using tactics that should have been impossible. "Retreat," he ordered his remaining ships. "We must warn the Council. The humans are not like the other species. They are something new." As the alien ships limped away from Earth, humans around the world began to emerge from their hiding places. They had won the first battle, but everyone knew this was not the end. The aliens would be back with more ships and better preparation. But now they knew that humans would not surrender, and humans knew that aliens could be defeated. The war for humanity's survival had begun. 3 weeks had passed since the aliens retreated from Earth. The victory had cost humanity greatly. Power grids around the world were damaged. Many cities needed to be rebuilt. Thousands of humans had died in the fighting. But humanity had survived. More importantly, they had won. Admiral Dongwu Kim stood in the rebuilt command center, looking at reports from around the galaxy. Captain Taeho Lee had somehow survived the crash of his ship and was now leading reconnaissance missions to track the alien fleet. "What do we know about their movements?" Dongwu asked. Captain Taeho pointed to a star map on the main screen. "The surviving Council ships have retreated to this system, about 50 light-years from Earth. They're gathering reinforcements from all 12 member species." "How many ships?" "Our best estimate is 3,000 ships, maybe more." The number was staggering. Earth had barely defeated 50 alien ships. Now they were facing 60 times that number. Dr. Hyojin Park, who had been working on reverse engineering, captured alien technology, looked up from her computer. "I have some good news and some bad news." "Give me the bad news first," Dongwu said. "The bad news is that the Council is building a superweapon. It's some kind of planet killer that can destroy entire solar systems. If they finish it, they can destroy Earth from a safe distance." "And the good news?" "The good news is that I've figured out how their faster-than-light engines work. I can make human ships faster than theirs." This was important. Human technology was improving rapidly by studying alien equipment. But would it be enough? President Minho Song appeared on the communications screen. "Admiral, I've been meeting with world leaders. We've made a decision about how to proceed." "What decision, sir?" "We're not going to wait for them to attack us again. We're going to attack them first." Some of Dongwu's officers looked shocked. The idea of humans launching an interstellar war seemed insane. Earth had barely survived 1 battle. "Sir, we don't have enough ships for an offensive war." "That's where you're wrong, Admiral. Show him the numbers, Hyojin." Dr. Hyojin displayed new information on the screen. "In the last 3 weeks, every country on Earth has been building warships using alien technology. We now have 500 combat-ready vessels." 500 ships is still not enough to fight 3,000, Dongwu pointed out. "It is if we don't fight them the way they expect," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see So-Young Choi entering the room. She had been promoted to diplomatic attaché after her success in intercepting alien communications. "I've been studying their psychology," So-Young continued. "The Council species think in terms of large fleet battles. They believe that the side with more ships always wins. They've never fought an enemy that uses guerrilla warfare." "Explain," Dongwu said. "Instead of fighting one big battle, we fight many small battles. We attack their supply lines. Their communication stations, their isolated outposts. We make them afraid to spread their forces. It was a classic human strategy. When facing a stronger enemy, humans attacked where the enemy was weakest. There's something else, So Young added. I've been monitoring alien communications across the galaxy. Word is spreading about Earth's victory. Other species that the Council oppresses are starting to ask questions. She displayed a map showing dozens of star systems. These are all species that the Council controls through fear. If we can prove that the Council can be defeated, some of these species might join us. This changed everything. What had started as Earth's fight for survival could become a galactic rebellion. Colonel Jinwoo Park, who had been training new pilots, raised his hand. Admiral, I've been working with alien volunteers who defected after our first battle. They want to help us fight the Council. Alien volunteers? Yes, sir. It turns out that many aliens working for the Council were forced into service. When they saw humans fighting back, some of them decided to join us instead. Dr. Hyejin nodded. The volunteers have been very helpful. They've taught us about Council technology and tactics. They've also told us about something important. What? The Council has been lying to the galaxy for thousands of years. They claim they bring peace and order, but actually they've been enslaving species and stealing their resources. Many of the Council's own people don't know about this. Admiral, Dongwu felt a spark of hope. If the Council was hated by its own subjects, then humanity was not fighting alone. All right, he said. If we're going to war, we need a plan. Hi, Jin, how soon can you have improved ships ready? Give me 2 more weeks. I can upgrade our entire fleet with faster engines and better weapons. Jinwoo, how many pilots can you train in that time? With the help of alien volunteers, I can. Train 2,000 pilots, maybe more. So Young, can you contact the oppressed species and convince them to help us? I'm already working on it. 3 species have agreed to provide us with intelligence. 2 others are considering open rebellion against the Council. Good. We have 2 weeks to prepare. After that, we take the war to them. While Earth prepared for war, the Galactic Council was dealing with a crisis they had never faced before. For the first time in 3,000 years, they had been defeated in battle. Ambassador Veltar stood before the High Council, a gathering of representatives from all 12 Council species. The chamber was a massive space station that floated in the void between galaxies. Explain this defeat, demanded Zekthar, the crystalline leader of the Thek race. The humans use tactics we have never encountered, Veltar replied. They weaponized their entire planet. They used nuclear weapons as distractions. They crashed ships into our vessels on purpose. These are the actions of a primitive species, said the hive-mind voice of the Collectorate. How did primitive tactics defeat our advanced technology? Veltar had been asking himself the same question. The humans do not think like us. We plan our battles logically. We use formations and strategies that have proven effective. The humans, they use chaos as a weapon. Chaos cannot defeat order, insisted Zurek of the energy being Zephyrins. There must be another explanation. I have studied their history, Veltar continued. The humans have been fighting wars for their entire existence as a species. The Nexus Prime system was the most heavily defended location in Council space. 1,000 alien warships surrounded the massive construction facility where the planet destroyer was being built. Admiral Dongwoo Kim stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the enemy positions. His fleet of 800 human and allied ships was hidden behind a gas giant, preparing for the most important battle in galactic history. Final status report, Dongwoo ordered. All human ships ready, reported Colonel Jinwoo Park. The Rillan fleet is in position. The Depth Swimmer submarines are ready to attack from the asteroid field. Dr. Hyejin Park checked her instruments. The gravity disruptors are charged. The electromagnetic pulse generators are online. Project Ragnarok 2 is ready to deploy. Captain Taeho Lee, now commanding a squadron of fast attack ships, confirmed his readiness. Strike teams are prepared to board the planet destroyer and extract the engineering staff. So Young Choi was monitoring communications across the galaxy. Admiral, the rebellion is spreading faster than we expected. 17 different species have declared independence from the Council in the last week. And the Council's response? They're panicking. They've ordered all their ships to defend Nexus Prime. They're not even trying to stop the rebellions anymore. They just want to finish their weapon and destroy Earth. This was exactly what Dongwu had hoped for. By spreading rebellion across the galaxy, humanity had forced the Council to concentrate their forces in one location. Now, instead of fighting the Council fleet across dozens of systems, humans could face them in a single decisive battle. "Begin the attack," Dongwu ordered. Though, battle began with a move that confused the Council defenders. Instead of attacking the planet destroyer directly, human ships targeted the facility's power generators and communication arrays. Dr. Hyojin had studied the planet destroyer's design and discovered its weakness. The weapon was so powerful that it needed massive amounts of energy to function. If the power system was damaged, the weapon would be useless. "All ships focus fire on the energy collectors," Dongwu commanded. Human ships dove toward the planet destroyer like angry hornets, firing everything they had at the huge solar collection panels that powered the weapon. The Council defenders tried to intercept them, but human pilots used their signature chaotic flying patterns to avoid enemy fire. Colonel Jin Wu led his fighters in a spiraling attack pattern that made no logical sense to alien minds. His pilots flew through the Council formation like they were dancing, dodging weapons fire while delivering precise strikes on critical targets. "Their attack pattern is impossible to predict," complained a Council ship captain. "How do we defend? Against randomness?" "Follow standard defensive protocols," ordered Ambassador Veltar from his command ship. "Form a protective sphere around the planet destroyer." But the Council's standard protocols were designed to fight rational enemies. Humans were not rational. Commander Yan Su Kim emerged from the asteroid field with her submarine fleet, attacking the Council ships from an unexpected direction. Her vessels had been modified with alien cloaking technology, making them nearly invisible until they opened fire. At the same time, the Rillan and Depth Swimmer allies attacked from two other directions. The Council found themselves fighting on 4 fronts simultaneously, something their tactical computers had never been programmed to handle. But the real surprise came when Captain Taeho's strike team launched their assault on the planet destroyer itself. Instead of trying to destroy the weapon, the humans were attempting to capture it. Taeho led 50 boarding craft directly at the construction facility, using the chaos of the space battle as cover. "This is impossible!" Veltar screamed as he watched human soldiers fighting their way into the most secure facility in Council space. "No species has ever attempted to capture a planet killer." "That's because no species was crazy enough to try," Taeho replied over an open communication channel as his team blasted through the facility's defenses. Inside the planet destroyer, human soldiers faced technology they had never seen before. The weapon was a marvel of engineering, combining the best science from 12 different alien civilizations, but the humans were not there to admire it. "Find the engineers," Taeho ordered his team. "We need the people who built this thing." The search led them through corridors filled with alien technology and strange, beautiful crystalline structures. Finally, they found what they were looking for: a laboratory where dozens of alien scientists were working on the weapon's final components. "We're human soldiers," Taeho announced to the startled aliens. "We're here to rescue you." "Rescue us?" asked a confused Thek engineer. "We are building a weapon to destroy your species." "That's exactly why we're rescuing you," Taeho explained. "We know you didn't choose to build this weapon. The Council forced you to do it. We're offering you a chance to use your skills for something better." This was the human strategy that the Council had never anticipated. Instead of killing their enemies, humans were trying to convert them. Many of the alien engineers had been working on the planet destroyer against their will. When offered a chance to escape Council control, most of them agreed to help the humans. While Taeho's team was capturing the engineering staff, Dr. Hyojin was implementing the most audacious part of the human plan. She had brought a gravity generator similar to the one used to defend Earth, but much more powerful. "Activating Project Ragnarok 2, she announced. The massive gravity generator created a field that grabbed the planet destroyer and began pulling it away from Nexus Prime. The weapon was so large that moving it required enormous amounts of energy. But Hyojin had learned to use the enemy's own power systems against them. "They're stealing the planet destroyer," Veltar realized with horror. "Stop them!" The Council ships turned all their weapons on the human fleet, but it was too late. The gravity field was already moving the massive weapon toward the human fleet. More importantly, The captured engineers were already beginning to reprogram the weapons control systems. The final phase of the battle was the most chaotic yet. Council ships desperately tried to destroy their own weapon rather than let it fall into human hands. Human ships fought to protect the planet destroyer while simultaneously fighting off the Council fleet. In the middle of this chaos, something unexpected happened. Several Council ships stopped fighting and began broadcasting surrender signals. "Admiral," So Young reported with amazement, "some of the Council crews are refusing to fire on their own people. The engineers we rescued include family members of Council ship crews." This was the moment when the Council's system of control finally collapsed. For thousands of years, they had ruled by keeping different species separated and suspicious of each other. But humans had shown that cooperation was possible, even between former enemies. As more Council ships surrendered or simply stopped fighting, Veltar found himself commanding a rapidly shrinking fleet. The planet destroyer was now under human control, and the galaxy was watching to see what humanity would do with ultimate power. "This is Admiral Dongwoo Kim to all forces," Dongwoo broadcast on all frequencies. "The planet destroyer is now under the control of the Galactic Liberation Alliance, but we will not use it as a weapon." He paused, knowing that every species in the galaxy was listening. "Instead, we will use this technology to build shields that protect worlds from destruction. We will use it to terraform dead planets into new homes for refugees. We will use the Council's weapon of destruction to create and protect life." The effect of this announcement was immediate. Across the galaxy, the remaining Council forces began to surrender. Species that had been enslaved for centuries declared their independence. The 1,000-year reign of the Galactic Council was over. 5 years later, Commander Yeon-Soo Kim stood on the observation deck of New Geneva Station, humanity's first permanent installation in the galactic core. Around her, ships from 100 different worlds docked peacefully, their crews working together on projects that would have been impossible under Council rule. The planet destroyer had been converted into a massive terraforming platform. Dead worlds were being transformed into garden planets. Asteroid belts were being turned into space habitats. The weapon designed to destroy life was now creating it. Her granddaughter, young Hana, looked up at her with curious eyes. "Grandmother, why did the Council think they could defeat humanity?" Yeon-Soo smiled, remembering the desperate battle at Earth that had started everything. "Because they forgot that some species would rather die fighting than live kneeling. They learned too late that humans don't just survive. We make sure our children inherit a better galaxy." Through the station's windows, they could see ships from Earth working alongside former Council species and newly liberated worlds. The galaxy had learned that cooperation was stronger than domination, that diversity was more powerful than uniformity. Admiral Dongwoo, now serving as the first director of galactic defense, had established new principles for interstellar relations. No species would be forced to join the alliance, no world would be conquered or enslaved, and any species that threatened others would face the combined fury of the free galaxy. Dr. Hye-Jin had become the director of galactic science, leading projects